I lost $100,000 in a single year. Not because I was stupid, not because I didn't know what I was doing, but because I had one fatal flaw that every trader battles. I couldn't sit still. I'm Michael Huddleston, known to many as ICT, the Inner Circle Trader. And if you're watching this video because you've taken losses, because you're questioning whether you can make it in this game, because you're one bad trade away from quitting, I need you to hear what I'm about to say. Because the words I'm going to share with you are the same words I had to tell myself when I was broke, frustrated, and convinced I was wasting my time. These are the truths that kept me going, and they might just save your trading career. Let me be brutally honest with you. You're here for one reason only, to learn how to make money. That's it. Not to feel good. Not to join some community where everyone pats each other on the back. Not to collect concepts like trading cards. You're here to develop a skill that pays you, and if you forget that, you'll waste years of your life chasing the wrong things. I see it every single day. Traders come to me with preconceived notions about what they need. They think they need the perfect indicator. They think they need to know every single pattern. They think if they just watch one more video, read one more book, attend one more webinar, suddenly everything will click. That's an illusion. The same illusion I fell for as a young man. When I first started trading in the early 1990s, I thought I was smart enough to figure it out quickly. I'd read a few books, study some charts, and boom, I'd be printing money. I had no idea that the biggest barrier to my success wasn't the market. It was the 7-pound universe sitting between my ears. My brain. Your brain. That wonderful, terrible organ that creates distractions, rationalizes stupidity, and convinces you to break your own rules at the worst possible moments. Here's something most traders won't admit. They need to be right every single day. That need, that addiction to being correct, will destroy you faster than any losing trade ever could. Before you watch another video, before you study another chart, you need to recalibrate your mindset. You're not here to be right. You're here to make money. Those are two completely different games. Let me tell you about my journey. In 1992, I had no real understanding of what I was doing. I was afraid to enter trades because I didn't have a solid framework. So what did I do? I spent the entirety of 1993 and 1994 developing entry models. I poured every ounce of energy into understanding what causes price movements. I became obsessively compulsive about it. I needed to know why the market did what it did, every single time. And here's what I learned. Everything I've taught thus far in my career is more than enough for anyone to become consistently profitable. The question isn't whether the concepts work. The question is, what have you done with them? See, when you come to me with the right mindset and start learning new concepts, you can get addicted to the learning itself. You love the feeling of understanding something new. You love that aha moment. But here's the trap. You can become addicted to consuming information without ever implementing it. You become that guy on the beach with the metal detector, walking around hoping to find treasure, but never actually digging when you get a signal. Do you enjoy what you're doing? Because if you don't, you've already lost. I saw a tweet this morning from someone saying, "I hate this. I hate trading. I don't know if I should quit." The moment you type those words, the moment you vocalize that sentiment, you brand it onto your soul. You attach it to your very spirit. And you have no idea how difficult it's going to be to work beyond that mental anchor. There's power in your tongue. Life and death is in the power of your words. I could sit down with you and say, "You are one of my best students. You're so good at what you do. You've done exceptionally well training and following the rules." How would you feel? Empowered, motivated, ready to conquer the markets. Or I could say, "Look at you. You're a waste of a student. You've done nothing correctly. You've literally wasted your time. You don't do anything right. It's all your fault. Stay miserable." Nobody wants to hear that. And I would never say that to my students because it serves no purpose. What I do instead is show you what you're doing incorrectly so you can correct yourself. If you're off course in a ship by just 1 degree early in your journey, you will not arrive at your destination on time. You might be able to calibrate later when you discover you're on the wrong path, but why would you want to waste that time and energy? Keep your bearings. Know exactly why you're here. It's to learn how to make money, how to read these charts, how to develop a skill set that pays you consistently. If you don't focus on that as your number one driving reason for being here, you'll get distracted. You won't be diligent about your study. You'll let the drama, the pain, the discomfort of the process derail you. And here's the painful truth. The more you want it to be faster, the longer it's going to take. Because you're wasting time and energy worrying about how to speed it along instead of just going through the normal, everyday approach of putting in the work. There's only one way to go through this process: forward. That's it. There's no shortcut. There's no fast way. Nobody's going to condense this for you in a way that makes you understand it correctly overnight. Let me address something important. I've watched my students try to become teachers before they've finished learning. They echo a small sampling of something I've said, and it sounds amazing to first-time listeners. Oh, this is awesome. This is great. I understand. But it's incomplete. They don't know when the best time is to use that specific tool, that approach, that mindset. They leave it to their audience to come up with their own results, and then they claim they're making all their students profitable. If that's what you want to do, become a teacher, get the experience first. Learn it properly. You aren't done learning yet. None of my charter members are complete. They may have a model. They may have profitability. They may have no real need to come to me anymore. But not one of them knows everything I know or everything I've taught. And you know what? The profitable ones will tell you the same thing. What I came looking for and what I actually learned were completely different. I didn't even see this coming. And now this is what I trade, and I'm completely comfortable. Are you willing to be flexible like that? Because that's what's required. You have to have the flexibility and ability to adapt. When you come here with expectations of learning exactly what you think you need, you're setting yourself up for frustration. Hold on to the expectation that you'll learn how to make money, but be open to how that actually manifests. If you can't be happy with modest progress, you'll never be happy with success. You'll just scale your misery. I've seen traders upgrade from small accounts to large accounts and downgrade their peace of mind. It turns out their strategy runs fine, but their brain starts leaking sanity under pressure. Let me talk about something critical: the mental game when you're facing losses. When I lost significant money early in my career, I had to answer a fundamental question. Why am I doing this? You need to answer that question for yourself. Right now, why are you trading? Is it because you've seen evidence that these concepts work? Is it because you've seen other people make real money using this approach? What's driving you? I worked 27 jobs as a young man. 27. Some of them I quit after 1 or 2 days. As soon as I got under pressure from someone I knew was an idiot who didn't know what they were doing, I couldn't work under them. I'd say, this person has no idea what they're doing. They don't know how to manage people. They don't even know their own job. And if they weren't going to properly train me, what did that mean? It meant I was going to be stressed out, and they'd probably fire me anyway, because I wasn't able to do the job they couldn't train me to do properly. But in this endeavor, in trading, I try to be the best manager, the best mentor I can be. I look at you as a college student, and I'm the college itself, the professor, the teacher. I'm trying to fill all those seats, wear all those hats, and be as personable as I possibly can. I am giving you more time than any other person out there, whether they charge money or do it for free. Nobody is investing more into you than I am. Nobody. And here's the truth that's hard to swallow. I'm doing it more than you are. I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. I know what you're doing incorrectly, and I know how to overcome it. But whether you're willing to listen to that advice remains to be seen. I have students who don't want to listen, and they stay exactly where they started. Some of them get bent out of shape and blame their failure on me, but that's not accurate. They're doing things incorrectly, not doing the things I told them to do, or not doing them long enough. It took me 6 years. 6 years to really get this. Now imagine if I'd said at the beginning, okay, I'm going to teach you how to trade, but it's going to take 6 years. You'd say, man, I got things to do. There's a guy on YouTube doing something for $30 a month. I'm going there. That's why I teach the way I do. I lay breadcrumbs. I give you what I think will happen in the future, predict outcomes using tools I've already taught, so you can see if this resonates with you. When we as a community look for the market to do something specific and it comes to pass, how do you feel? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel like it's luck? Do you feel like it's just another day on the job? It should be just another day on the job. When you go to work, do you feel the need to tell your friends and coworkers, I had the most amazing day. I processed so many accounts today. I was ahead of everybody else. No, because nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn what you did to earn your paycheck. But in trading, everyone wants to post their wins on social media. Look at this trade I did. Look how many pips I made. Yeah, I got stopped out here, but I got it back over here. That's not the right mindset. You don't do that at your job because people only care what you drive, where you sleep, how you spend your money, and what you wear. They want to compare their life to yours. The same thing happens in trading. Everyone wants to know how much you made, but they don't want to hear about the process, the losses, the grinding hours of study, the psychological warfare you wage with yourself every single day. Here's what kept me going when I lost money. The understanding that discipline equals clarity times patience, divided by ego. When you remove ego from the equation, compounding becomes effortless. If you let ego creep in, you'll try to prove you're right instead of trying to be profitable. That's the beginning of every financial disaster I've ever witnessed. People always ask me, what's the key to long-term success? I tell them, don't interrupt compounding unnecessarily. Don't do something stupid just because you're bored. The world is full of intelligent people who can't resist sabotaging themselves at the worst possible time. They get greedy in booms, fearful in busts, and restless in between. Discipline is what keeps you from joining that parade of fools. When I faced my losses, I had to confront some uncomfortable truths. First, I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. Second, the market didn't care about my feelings, my rent, my bills, or my ego. Third, being right about market direction meant nothing if I couldn't execute properly. And fourth, my worst enemy wasn't other traders or market makers. It was me. The same is true for you. Your worst enemy is staring at you in the mirror every morning. That person will sabotage you more effectively than any market condition ever could. That person will talk you out of taking good trades and talk you into taking terrible ones. That person will break your rules, abandon your plan, and convince you that this time is different. So how do you overcome this? You develop absolute boredom with your process. You want to be so familiar with your setup, so confident in your model that taking a trade feels like brushing your teeth. No excitement, no fear, no anxiety, just execution. That's how you know you're ready to trade with real money. When you're not hopped up, not terribly excited, not overconfident, you're just ready. Let me go out and do it. I'm not scared. I'm not emotional. This is the rule-based idea I'm following. It works a lot. It fails sometimes, but I can come back from losses without it knocking the legs out from underneath me. Another thing that kept me going, I stopped putting time limits on my success. I had to be this by that date. No, you don't. Trust me, that date on the calendar will come, and you'll still be breathing. The things around you will still be the way they are, even if you don't hit your goal. Goals have to be flexible. They're time-based, yes, but they're not set in stone. They're coordinates. Your destination should be excellence. That's it. You should always be aiming for excellence, knowing you'll have to calibrate yourself throughout the process. You're not going to get there overnight. Nobody does. Believe me. If there was somebody on this planet who was going to do it overnight, I believed it was going to be me. Look at the level of accuracy my skill set has given other people. Look at what I'm able to showcase before it happens. I explain what's going to happen, and it does. And I still couldn't be what I thought I would be when I first started. When I first really understood what I had in my hands as a young trader, I thought I was going to conquer the world in 6 months. I was wrong. And being wrong taught me more than being right ever did. Let me share something about overcoming losses. You have to zoom out. When you lose $100,000, it feels like the end of the world. Your stomach drops, your hands shake, you question everything. But zoom out. In the grand scheme of your trading career, which should span decades, this is one chapter. One lesson, one very expensive education. I've been through it. I've had years where my performance was mediocre at best. I've had trades that went catastrophically wrong. I've questioned whether I had what it takes, but I kept showing up. I kept studying. I kept refining. Because I knew the alternative was going back to jobs I hated, working for people I didn't respect, trading my time for money until I was too old to enjoy the life I'd built. That's what kept me going. The vision of what trading could give me. Freedom. Not just financial freedom, but freedom from stupidity. Freedom from office politics. Freedom from alarm clocks and commutes and asking permission to take a vacation. That vision was worth more than the temporary pain of losses. And here's what I learned. Every single successful trader you admire has a graveyard of blown accounts behind them. Every single one. They just don't talk about it much because people don't want to hear about failure. They want the highlight reel. But the highlight reel is meaningless without the context of all the work that happened behind the scenes. Your $100,000 loss? It's tuition. It's painful tuition, yes. But it's only wasted if you don't learn from it. If you don't extract every possible lesson from that experience and use it to become better, then yes, you threw away $100,000. But if you analyze what went wrong, if you identify the psychological patterns that led to poor decisions, if you rebuild your approach with that hard-earned wisdom, then you didn't lose $100,000. You invested it in your education. Here's the final thing I want you to understand. Surviving in this game is more important than thriving. Before you can be consistently profitable, you have to be consistently here. You have to be consistently showing up, studying, practicing, executing. You can't compound success if you quit. You can't develop mastery if you walk away. The traders who make it aren't the smartest. They aren't the ones with the most capital or the best education or the fanciest software. They're the ones who refuse to quit. They're the ones who take the punches, learn from them, and keep moving forward. They're the ones who understand that trading is not a sprint. It's an ultra marathon through the desert, and most people tap out before they reach the oasis. But you're still here. You're still watching this. That means something. That means you haven't given up. That means there's still a chance you're going to make it. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to be patient when everything in your brain screams for action? Are you willing to follow your rules when your emotions beg you to break them? Are you willing to accept that this might take years, not months? If the answer is yes, then you haven't lost $100,000. You've paid $100,000 for a masterclass in what not to do. And armed with that knowledge, you're now more dangerous than you've ever been. Because the trader who's been humbled is far more likely to succeed than the trader who thinks he knows everything. I believe in you. I believe in you more than you believe in yourself right now. But my belief doesn't matter if you don't show up and do the work. So get back to your charts, get back to your journal, get back to your process. The market will be there tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. The only question is, will you? This is ICT, reminding you that the only trade that matters is the next one, and the only day that matters is today. Now get back to work.